Right, I've rotated this out. If you want to see how I did it, then just go to yesterday's video in it. That shows you. Just pouring some damp water on there. Job's a good one. Got a bit of a dark blue and a bit of Payne's grey mix. So whatever dark blue you've got in your palette, a cobalt will even do, or an ultramarine will be good. If it's a dark blue, it'll walk. In fact, it'll walk if it's a light blue mixed with a bit of what did I say? Black, thingy black. I forgot what it's called. Not important. Right, let's put some water in while I'm at it and all. I think I'll do my water like that. Little gaps in it. That usually works. That black's doing my head in now. What's it called? Black. Payne's grey, that's it. It's because I'm thinking of black, it's making me, throwing me off. Payne's grey. There, I've just mixed a bit more. So it's a dark blue and a Payne's grey. Right, let's have a look. There's sort of some white bits in there. In there, that side. Then there's loads of white gaps. So I think pop it in like that, and I think get that clean brush and just drag across some bits into there where it's white, so it's really thin in there. There, I'm happy with that. I think that looks nice. There, that'll do. Something like that, that'll do. You could turn your paper sideways so your paint drips sideways. That might even help a bit. Let's try and do that now. Look, just so it drips sideways because it's quite wet. But for me, that's a bit difficult because you're watching it and that, innit? Right, so that's that. Right, now. Let's start getting some green in here. So I'll go into some yellow, not even going to bother cleaning my brush. Them colours can just mix in. Bluey colour anyway, take it a bit green. And there's a bit of dirt in my yellow paint as well. When I say dirt, I mean some other colours from other painting, what's still left in the yellow. And I've splodged it all together and it's gone a slight green colour anyway. Well, that's perfect, that suits me sound. So I've got basically a light green colour. I'll leave some little white gaps in that. So there. That's my underpainting for that. I'll tell you what, stand that up there a bit while I'm at it. I might as well have an underpainting. In fact, that's going to come right up here on this one. On my other one, my bridge was further over this way. So this bit was smaller. But I sketched it out, I realised I would have preferred my bridge further this way. But I just thought, I'll just go with flow. Paint it like that anyway. Still look good. Might finish it and it looks better. So see, if you're not happy with something, you can always chuck it away or use it for test paper or something and just sketch it out again, or even rub it all out, whatever. But what I tend to do quite often is just think, so I'll just paint it and see what happens. Quite often I end up liking it anyway, so there, I'll get that in there like that. That's in there now. I'm gonna want some brown in here, aren't I? So what else do I want? I want some brown for some mud coming up there. Right, so what I'm going to do now then, I want some brown coming up here for some mud, but I want some lighter brown in here. So I'm going to mix now into that yellow, even though it's a greenish colour. If I put a touch of red into that, it'll kill that green and turn it a creamy colour. And it has done, it's gone straight to a creamy colour. If your one goes a bit orange, that's simple, just put a bit of Bont Umber in with it and that'll kill the orange colour to it. But mine's got a right nice colour. I think I want quite a thinnish paint for this. I'm just going to dip back of my brush into my water. Just put like a teardrop of paint water in that paint. Quite a thin paint. Right, I think what I'll do here is that. Try and get a bit of negative painting in there like that. A bit more water. There, that's nice. Then fill this in. Little tip, leave a few gaps of white. Leave a few gaps to show through. Always looks good. Leave some round there and all. In fact, you can come into that bottom bit there. Not going to matter. Left a bit of white along that top bit. Let's have a little bit. There, that looks nice. There, I'm happy with that. That'll give me some bricky texture. Right, let's take that same colour now. Go into some of this mud. And just bring that up there like that as some of the mud. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring that right up. And use that as a full layer. And that'll look nice because that's holding it all together then with these same colours. It's holding everything all together, making it all look equal. See how well, because I'm using the same colours, see how well that sits together. Like a bit in this background here, look. There. Bit there. That's it. And then I'll have to mix a bit more, I think. Mix a bit more up. And then in here, that same again. There, see I'm using all them same colours, look how well that sits together now. Wicked. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now, I think. Or shall I? I don't know. Now, I'll tell you what, I'll put my trees in. I'm wondering whether to put, there's a little castle in here. Or a church, I think it's a church. But I think I'm going to put my trees in first before I do that. So, I'm even going to mix up some more of that cream colour. And then add it to my green colour. I've got some ready mixed green in here from painting before. But you know how to mix green. Yellow and blue mixes green. If you've got some, one of them, because this isn't even artist quality paint what I'm using here, it's paint what I had given me, so it just shows you don't have to spend a fortune. This is just, it's not even student quality, it's just kids paint. So you know, if you've got a kids paint set knocking about, you can go at this with that. And if you have and it's got some green in it, then use that, but don't use it on its own. Mix some brown or something in it to make it more. Best way to describe it is mix some brown in to make it more a mud colour, because natural greens are quite often muddy, and if you use just a normal green out your pot or your cheap paint, whatever you've got, it'll probably look horrible. I'm still mixing now because I'm just getting the colour that I want, so don't rush, get the colour that you want. I've got the green that I'd already got mixed, and then I want it a lot darker, so I'm mixing in actual burnt umber and Payne's grey to the green what I'd already got mixed. So if you're mixing from fresh and you ain't got no green, still quite easy. All you do is get some yellow and blue, mix a nice bright green up, and then add some burnt umber and a bit of Payne's grey to it. That should give you a decent green. Right, I've got a really dark green now. It needs to be quite thin because these are quite far away. Right, there's a tree about here. It's a bit of a weird shaped thing. Look at that. See how all bashed up end of me brush there is helping me now. And that brush, when I did them straight lines, it still got me a straight line as well. So normally when people's hike brushes get in this state, they sling them. But I never part way out. I'm a bit of an hoarder. I like to hoard stuff. Right, that tree sort of stops there on my original photo, but I'm going to bring it a bit down. It looked a bit weird on the other one. There, that's a perfect colour though. Perfect. Right, you know what? I'm going to turn this upside down a second. Right, I'll do you a little demonstration now, where I can get a nice straight line out of this brush. Add some more water to that paint. Right, watch this. I hope this works now. Right, I need a straight line to go across top of there, look. So look at that. Just leave a bit of white on top of that there, look. There. That's my straight line. I think it goes up a bit there, perhaps. I think. Can't even remember. Let me spin that back now. That's enough just to give me a nice barrier. That's a little tip, you see. You can spin stuff round to get what you want. Right, there's actually a bush. It's there, but I'm going to move it back a bit to there. So that's a bush coming out of that bottom bit there. This bit's bushy there. You can make this up. You can do this however you want. There's a big bush there. You can put your bushes wherever you want. Mine's sort of where I had a reference photo. Reference photo's on my phone, and I'm filming with my phone. So I've had to paint a version of it, and now I'm working from that because my reference photo's on my phone. Quite a good idea to paint something more than once, you know. See, like that was the same size as that on my original, but yeah, I don't want that. And I can do what I want. The world is my lobster. Right, this is a totally random thing to come out with. A bit of a pointless fact. I just heard it on YouTube last night on something I was watching. And I thought, that's interesting. Did you know this is if you're watching this 10 years after I filmed it, it might be different. But did you know that the fastest growing religion in America at this minute now is the Mormons? Yeah. Weird, innit? And people say that I'm a Mormon. I don't know why. There we are, look, I think that's about it for bushes. I'll bring that one up a bit more. Right, I'm going to put that church in a minute. There, look at that. I'm happy with that. I do like that. Right, I suppose I could do with some dark greens in here, but I think not quite this dark yet, so I'm going to put that cream colour I had, I'm putting that mucky green colour now into that cream colour to line it up. And it's actually not looking very greenish. Just put some more yellow in. I've added some yellow to it. So basically, just have a go with what paints you've got and see if you can reproduce something similar to this colour. Because I've got all the colour what were on my brush for that, then I've mixed it in with that cream colour, and then I've had to add some yellow to it. But as you get used to mixing, you'll get used to doing this. So what I've ended up with now, I've ended up with a mixture of that colour and some lemon yellow on top of that, and that's giving me this colour what I'm going to show you in a minute. Right, that's giving me this green colour. Right, because I'm just building up layers, you see. See how this is building up and up and up, getting closer and closer to a finished thing. I always like to leave some bits of white. That is too close to that colour, so I think I'll add some yellow in before I fill that little gap in there. Look at that now, though. This is another colour. I might even do another another layer on top of this one yet. Not sure yet. See how all my brush is breaking up, where it's all battered. That sort of. This is what I'm saying. Don't chuck your old height brushes away. I think they're better when they get battered up. I suppose it's the style that you paint what shapes your brush to how it is, so maybe you're better with an older brush. Don't know if Yarge made that up. Maybe it's not. Who knows? Right, let's come in here now. Let's start at this bottom bit. Look at that now. It's building up, getting stronger and stronger. Just hopefully looking closer. As we're getting more colours in, hopefully it's looking closer. Let's have a bit of this right up in that. What I'm trying to do here, I've got to go around the edge of that archway there, but I'm trying to follow my contours. I don't want to paint round there. If I paint round there in a circular motion, it's going to look weird. I want it to look like, see how the contours of this is all coming down at the flow of the shape of the land. So I want that to happen there. So all this, if you look, all my brush strokes go in that way. But it does make it a little bit difficult when it comes to getting that bit in there. So what I'm going to do, dip into a bit of yellow, lighten it a bit, and I'm going to come in now and just get right. I am going to go around that bit there. Right, just using the corner of my brush. You can use, if you're more comfortable, use a smaller brush to do that. And then I'm just going to come in. And you haven't even got to be dead accurate on that. Don't go over mine. Yeah, in that black bit, it don't even matter if you go over, because that's going to be darker. But on this light bit, don't go over edge. But you haven't even got to be that careful, because like there's a little white bit just there, look. But there's little white bits all over, so that's going to look natural. That's okay. Right. No, I'll leave it. Right. I think what I might do now is mix a brown colour up and put some more mud in it. Oh no, I want to get a bit of really yellow on top of there, don't I? And then I'll mix a brown colour up and put some extra mud in. Right. I just didn't want this bit here. I wanted it to look. That's nice. I wanted that bit to look a different colour to that bit. That were close to that colour. So that's why I did that, what I just did. Right, let's mix up now a brown colour. I haven't even bothered washing my brush again. What's the point? So I've gone into my brown. It's turned green because I've got that green on my brush. So rather than wash it and waste paint, I've added a bit of my bright red in, and that's took it to a dark brown straight away. So I've used all that paint that were on my brush there by adding red. I didn't instead of washing my brush then dipping into burnt umber, I've saved paint. I've just added red to that green and it's gone. Slightly lighter colour than burnt umber. What a nice colour. What's probably perfect for this. So look at this, I'll show you now. This is the colour what it's gone. That nice colour there like that. I've added quite a lot of water to it, so it's quite thin at the minute. Especially because I'm going to be going into this back bit here, you see. And then I might most probably add another even darker layer on there. But that colour there, so I didn't waste any paint, didn't wash my brush, just mix some red in. Some red into that. That's getting me my mud. If you get like lots of colours mixed, you end up with a mud colour anyway. So if you do mix mud, and people say, oh, don't mix mud. If you do mix mud, like, save it for your next painting, because when you want a picture of mud, when you want to actually paint some mud, sorry, I was going to paint a picture just of mud, but when you want to actually paint some mud, you've got a nice mud colour there, haven't you? Right, this colour now is going to be perfect to add another layer on top of that. See what I'm saying about building layers up? So I'll use some more of that colour, build up another layer on top of there. Watch this, look. Look how perfect this is, colour wise. I'm leaving gaps. Loads of gaps. Go through there, look, because that's going to be darker anyway, so don't worry about going through there. I'm just trying to, I'll gradually build this up, and hopefully by the time I've done, it'll look like old brickwork. It's not looking bad now, is it, that? Look at that. That's starting to look like old brickwork already. Alright, I'll tell you what I'll do now. Let's take this same colour now, back into my yellow, what's got green in my yellow. So if it turns, and it has done, it's turned slightly green. So I'll add a bit of red to it. A bit more red. And it's gone back to a nice creamy brown colour. Perfect. I'm going to paint my castle in. I'm going to swap brushes for my castle. So I've got a perfect castle brush here. You can do it with height. If your height's as battered as that, you'll struggle to do a castle with it. You can still do it, it'll be easy enough to do, but it'd just be a lot easier with one of them. So I'm going to use one of them. I've just squeezed my brush out and it's sent me paint green again because there's too much green in it. So I'll add some more red. There, that's took it back to a cream colour. Job's a good one. There, I've got a lovely colour at that. So, I think a dab more water in there. That's better. Water it down a bit. It's got to be quite thin paint because it's far away. So by using a thin paint, it's like you're mixing white in with your colour. Because the thinner the paint, the white on watercolour is the white of your paper showing through. So if you use a thin paint to do something like this, can I rest my hand on there? I'm going to do. Yeah, if you're using a thin paint, let's add that about there, like that. Let's get them little, I think they might be called turrets on top. So some there, I'd say that's that side there. Yeah, see that thin paint? See how you can see that white glowing through it? That's what you want. You know what? There's like a little thing that comes out there, like that. Like that. Just put them. Some of that's leaked in. I don't think it's going to matter. I'll tell you what, to make it look right, I'll pour it in all the way across. Yeah. Not look odd then. Little trick in it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to let that dry and then I'm going to paint the other side of it because the light's coming in that way, so that side's going to be lighter. So if I do another layer on that, make that look darker, my next side look lighter. Job's are good. Right, what else have I got to do? I think I've got enough layers of grass built up. Tell you what, let's do one last bit on here of an even darker brown, I'm thinking. And that'll bring it closer then. Bring that a little bit closer. So I'm going to go into now. Still haven't washed my brush. I don't think I washed my brush for this entire painting yet. Sometimes you need to wash your brush. Don't think that washing your brush is a bad thing. It's not. Just I'm that paranoid about wasting paint. I don't wash mine much. Well, it's not a bad thing to wash your brush, so I don't think it is. If you can waste more paint adding colour. You know, if you're trying to lighten a colour, sometimes you can waste more paint lightening it than if you just washed your brush. See how that's that little bit darker look? It's because it's another layer of paint. What's thickening the paint up, so it's going to make less of that white show through. So it's going to come out darker anyway. Some of this is still wet, so it's bleeding in some. Tell you what I could do down here. Look at that. Oh, I don't think you can see what I'm doing, but I'll show you in a minute. I'm not gone mad with it, but I've used that tiny corner of my brush there and I put some little blades of grass in, negative painting. So I put it in with that dark, and then the light in front's negative painted, that grass in. Now that side's closer. You wouldn't do that side really, because that grass is further away. Them blades of grass, they wouldn't register from that distance. I don't think anyway. Tell you what, while I've got that, bring this closer now. While I've got that brown on my brush, let's put some extra mud in. Because this is closer, you can see it more, you see, look. So that's my extra mud. And what I'll do, if I put it all in this bit here like this, then as I gradually go down, there'll be less paint on my brush. And I'll try and put less on and all. There. Maybe there's a tiny little speckle back there, but not much, because that's further away. There, look at that. That's my mud. There. Oh, yes. I think while I've got that on my brush, shall I just have a couple of brown bits in here just for some dark bits? Pull it a bit closer. There, I think that looks nice, doesn't it? I think that's okay. What I might do now is mix some really dark green, what I think will pull this even closer then. So let's do that. I haven't washed my brush again. I'll just add some yellow to that colour and some blue to that colour and mix a really dark green. Right, I've got my green mixed. Is that dark enough though? Let's have a look. Is it dark? It's not that dark, is it? Let's add a tiny bit of Bontumber and a tiny bit of Payne's Grey. Oh, that's nice. It's that darker. Let's have a look at that. That's a bit darker, isn't it? Oh yeah, look at that. And then I'll go. I've even gone a bit darker in that bit and a bit lighter as I work my way out, so you can get some depth in that little bit there. This colour's probably too dark to have over there, that's further away. Right, so that's that. Right. Another good thing about this painting, I haven't had to do any drying yet, but I think I might have to do some now. Yeah, let's put that brush down, let's let it a little dry. Managed to splash a blob of water there. Now, I'll tell you what, let's put the other side of that castle in. So what I'm going to do, I'll go over this one, like I say, that'll take me a thicker paint. What'll hide the white underneath, give me a darker colour and make this look like my shadowed side. There, and it sort of does that on that end bit there. I'll just do that into there, blend that in there. Right, then there's this shadowed side of this. Not shadowed side, the light side, sorry. Some turrets are on there as well. Can't remember, I think that might be about it. About there. I don't think there'd really enough turrets on there, but I'm not counting them. Don't really care. Let's dab that bottom bit. There, nice. Let that dry, see what it looks like. I might end up making that side even darker, pour a bit of Bontumber in or something. But for now, I think that'll do me. I think there's like, I think there's a bit of something coming over here. I can't remember. Let's put a bit of something in there so it looks like it sort of comes across a bit. This isn't on me with a photo. I'll just make that a bit of extra building across there, something, I don't know what that is. I just pop it in, and then I'll put some bits under there so it looks like there's bits of stuff coming through, right, so you can see through that tree, but then I've left some bits of white speckle as well, so it just looks like light hitting my tree, so I've got a bit of both there. So I have some little turrets on some of this. Yeah, why not? I like the turret. Let's have a couple. No, let's have them all the way across. Something like that. Not that important. Just piddling about. Like I say, that's not even on the original picture. Right, that's that. Let's stop piddling with that for a minute now then. Right, I need some pretty much Payne's Grey in there, just Payne's Grey. Mix a bit of burnt umber in if you want, make it a bit more interesting. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I don't like Payne's Grey on its own, it's a bit boring. So if I bring that, let's bring that under there like that. Try and follow. I can only just see this line. Probably won't have my reading glasses on. If you're my age, get your reading glasses on. I don't know where mine are. They'll be knocking about somewhere. Too daft to think. Get your reading glasses ready. You're going to paint. You're going to need them. I'm not clever enough to think like that. I want to add some Payne's Grey into that. So add a bit of Payne's Grey in. Oh yeah, that's better. Oh, see that variation in colour there with the Bontumber and the Payne's Grey? Makes it a bit more interesting. than just doing one or t'other. Right, I'll tell you what I am going to do now. Nice, plenty of water. Water that colour down a bit. Come into here. Like that. And just pop in a reflection. Something like that. See, I've negative painted around them bits of grass there. Need to do that. Probably not quite got enough arch on that. Probably should have come down a bit, but yeah, that should have come down a bit more there and around. But no one's going to notice that. Don't worry. Oh, I've pointed it out. Yeah, don't worry about stuff like that. This is about enjoying it, not looking and thinking, is this painting absolutely perfect? No one cares. You'll notice because you're an artist. It's probably another artist will never look at this. They might with this because it's on YouTube, but right, let me give that whole thing a try and stop chuntering on. Been a long one, this has, because I've been chatting a lot. Right, this is my final layer of paint now. Final layer. So, get a nice dark colour. Right, let's get into here. This is this is my tree. It's quite far away, so yeah, not to have these things dead darker out. It's quite far away. I think that's probably sort of enough detail for that. Right, there's a tree here. This tree here. I think I'm going to just do it like this. This tree is like twigs everywhere. It's all twigs, this one. Weird looking thing, this one, sort of very twiggy. I don't know. There, something like that. That's that one. There's a light coloured one here. Straight, sort of coming out here, and straight up there. It's a light colour, it's only just sort of showing up in front of there, but it is showing up here. Something like that. That's it. This is the main bit here, what's sticking up. And these bits down here, you can't see that much. And sometimes I'd think, oh, let's do them darker so you can see them, but I don't know. Sometimes in nature, not everything stands out. Tendering watercolour make everything stand out and try and get all your lights and your darks for your contrasts. And you want that. You want your lights against darks and stuff for your contrast. But I don't know. Sometimes in nature you get things what you can't see very well because the colours are similar and stuff like that. I'll stop waffling. Right, let's mix up a. You know what? This is Bontumber with a tiny bit of that cream in. And I'm just going to darken this side one more time down this. This is the shadow side of this. Hopefully it'll dry pretty quick because I want to get my little windows and stuff in it. That looks nice, doesn't it? I like that. So that's that done. Right, what else do we want? There's some more trees. Right, these ones are darker. So I'll come into my Bontumber, a bit of Payne's Grey, to both. And there's a tree, about what? Big one. Well, I'll say tree, I don't know, it's not really a tree, it's more of a, I don't know what you'd call it, a sprouse. I don't know what you call it, who cares? Well, sprouse. Then there's this thing here, what's just sort of like that. I don't know what, someone might know what these things are called while I'm painting, I don't know. Okay, just paint them same as in my picture. Some artists will be able to tell you the names of what trees they're painting and that. It's cool, it's a good thing. Wished I could. Just a little bit too daft. Right, let's put, there'd probably be bits of shadows around base of this. So let's get some little grasses in and stuff. I suppose if we put in some there, may as well add a few extras around and that. Let's swish it in with some other colours and stuff. Just sitting it into the ground really, by putting a bit of dark underneath it. One, it's going to create shadows so there would be a bit dark underneath it. Two, it sits it in a bit. I wonder how much, I wonder if I can get, let me just try this on some scrap paper. It probably might work. I want to get some sort of twiggy things like that, just with the side of my brush. Now what I've done, I've tried that on some paper first to make sure I've got the right amount of paint on to do it. So do the same. Just try it on some scrap paper first. Just make sure, if you've got too much paint on, that's not going to work. But there, that's worked nice. Oh, that one didn't have that on. That one's got loads of tiny little twigs on. Right. So that always has some scrap paper outside on you, I think. Right, where else we got? In here, there's some long bits of stuff. There's like a long bit here. A long sort. There's something there. You ain't got to put these in. If you don't want these in, you can leave them. Like this one comes right up here and in front of this. So whether it looks good having a big thing straight there in front on it is to your preference. I've stuck it in. But you don't need to. And I'm going to stick an extra one in up there and all. I think it'll just look good. There's not one there on my photo. You ain't got to stick to your photo. It's like that. A lot of artists would say, oh, I'm not going to put that in because it's blocking my main thing there. And it is, but because it's a little sprouty thing, I've decided to put it in. But it's up to you. You ain't got to do everything I do. I've just noticed as well, there were a little thing back there, a little twiggy thing and all, like a smaller version of that. Right, got some dark colours now on my paint, some Payne's Grey and Bontumber. I'm going to just stick in some bits around this bridge. Don't put every single bit in because it not look right. Don't need everything, you only need to put a bit in and your eye will put the rest in. So one, it saves time. Two, it does look daft if you put them all in. And I don't know why, can't explain why. If you looked with your eye at something like, I think this is why, right? This is probably not even true, it might be made up, but I think this is why. If you look with your eye at this, as your eye moves round, you'd see every single one of these bits as you moved round. But I think as you look at the whole thing, you only see bits of this in places as you're looking at it with your eye. So I think that's why it looks better when you just put bits in on a painting. Because although you could look round and see every bit of this, when you look at the whole thing with your human eye, the naked eye, naked, dude, then you sort of, then you don't see the whole thing at once, and I think that's probably why it always looks better just putting a bit in. I think that's plenty of put in there. That's plenty. Right, I'll do it with this same brush. Oh, is that dry? Yeah, brilliant. I want some little windows in there. A little window in about there. You could do these windows oval at the top, because a lot of them church windows are. A bit more Payne's grey into that, darken it a bit. I've done them square now. There's one there. Make them a bit longer. There might be something in there and all. In fact, go on, I'll put something in there. Something like that. I don't know, that's just a hint of something there. I'm not going to bother, it's too far away for brickwork or out. What else? Make sure I haven't missed out off. Oh, tell you what I probably could do with a slight reflection of that tree in there. While I've got this in my hand, let's put them in here near me thing. Peter and Paul, put them in there, and it'll bring my eye into that bit there. Right, I'm just thinking. We've got these trees here. Let's have a tiny bit of. I'm going to mix up a bit of blue and a bit of Payne's grey again. And just thicken this area up below here, so it just looks like a sort of reflection of that tree there. Maybe there's a bit of something like that. I'm going to soften that a bit. It'll look paler when it's dried anyway, but I'm going to soften it in a little bit. There, that looks better, doesn't it? Softened in, definitely. All these little bits, look, just soften them in. Try and work fast, because they'll start drying solid on you. If you can hit these with a tiny bit of damp brush before it dries, you're going to get a better effect. So there, look at that. And that's just getting me that slight reflection in there off that tree there. Think we're done. Yeah, that'll do me. Right, let's get a ickle brush and put a bit of dirt on it. It's about time we're done, because God knows how long. Well, I'll tell you how long we've took. 42 minutes, that's way over. Sorry for taking so long. I need to do them quicker. B and a D. Bertie D. See you on the beach. In it.